Aloha and welcome to the Murph's Place 808 for the Love of Golf podcast. I am your host, Murph. What is going on, people? It has been a minute. Well, not just a minute, but a lot of minutes. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of things occurred over the last couple of months. I apologize for not getting a show out to you guys. But you know what? Right off the rip, I want to start off. Thank you guys very much. Those of you that texted me or emailed me asking if everything was okay, I really appreciate that. That's very thoughtful of you guys. It was just a matter of a lot of things were going on Oahu, and I made a move to the Big Island at the beginning of May, and it was just a whole thought process and training somebody for the job that I was doing there at Moanalua, and just getting stuff get together, shipped over, and all that kind of stuff. And briefly, how it came about was, if you guys remember, I think it was episode 4, I had my good friend Tommy Hollenbeck on the podcast, and he had asked me a few months ago if I would be interested in coming over and living in his house here in Hawaii on the Big Island, which is at the very northern tip of the island. And I told him, I'd think about it, that I wasn't sure that, I'd been over here before for a golf tournament, and Hawaii is a really small town, and there's not a lot to do up here. But I told him I'd think about it, and I did. And then a few weeks after that, he had asked me at golf one time if I was still thinking about it. I told him, yeah, I was thinking about it. And like 2 weeks later, I was in line at the bank, and he texted me and asked me when I could get to the house in Hawaii. So I scrambled around and got everything packed up and shipped off and stuff put into storage, and had an incident with my Jeep. It was crazy. I'm driving my Jeep to the airport to come over for just one day to meet up with Tommy and his wife Debbie to go over some stuff with the house, and I'm driving to the airport. And all of a sudden, I almost get to the airport, and I'm starting to lose power. Like it's kind of like chugging along. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? I took my earbuds out, and it was just bang, 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 really loud. And I limped it into the parking garage, and I called John and asked him if he could take some oil and just put it over there in my Jeep in the seat, and I would put it in when I came back. I was just going for one day, and I thought to myself, it couldn't be. I just put oil in it the week before when I stopped and got gas. So I knew it couldn't be the oil. But I thought maybe it is, I don't know. So when I got back over the next day to the airport, I started my Jeep up and checked the oil, and it was completely full. So I limped it out of the parking garage and pulled into I think it was an IHOP, the lot over there at IHOP. And I called a tow truck, had him take it to my mechanic, Danny Ha, and a couple of days later, Danny called me and asked me if I was sitting down, and I knew it couldn't have been good if he's asking me if I'm sitting down. So I sat down, and he proceeded to tell me that I needed a new engine for the Jeep. Now, I'm not complaining. I got my use out of that Jeep. It's a 95 Jeep Wrangler. I love it. I'm not going to get rid of it. It does need a new engine. He told me it's going to cost $5,000. So I just got to get the money saved up and get that engine put in it. But I was lucky enough that one of the guys I golf with, he had a vehicle for sale already over here in Hilo on the Big Island. And he sold it to me at a price that I was very lucky to get it at. So I do have a vehicle. It's a 2004 Nissan Xterra over here on the Big Island. And my Jeep sitting in the garage waiting to have a new engine put in it. So when that thing gets a new engine in, I'll be bringing it over here more than likely. So anyhow, that's what's been going on, and why there's been no podcast put out is just that I've been swamped with getting things boxed up, shipped over, moved, storage, work, golf. I'm still trying to this is the year I wanted to win Senior Player of the Year, so I've been working hard, practicing a lot, and we've had some tournaments, and we'll get into those in a minute. But yeah, that's why the podcast has not been around, and I apologize for that. But I'm sure we're going to have it back on track now over here. I wasn't planning on working when I came over here because I didn't want to miss any tournaments, and I don't want to have to, tell somebody, hey, I got to quit if you're not going to let me off. So it just happened to turn out that John and Kevin Hayashi was at Midpack for an Aloha Section PGA thing, and they called me, and Kevin needed somebody in the pro shop up at the Village Course at Waikoloa. So I agreed to go up there to work. I told him I didn't want to miss any tournaments, and he said that he would schedule around so that I would be able to play those tournaments. So I appreciate Kevin very much for doing that. So that's what's been going on lately, guys. Like I said, I apologize for not getting a podcast out, and some of you, like I said, email me and text me and ask me if everything was okay. And, I told you guys, some of you, that, I would be getting things back in line and getting the podcast up and running again. Whole new set of stuff going on over here. The Fia belt watch. I mean, Joe P, I think that belt got retired. Nobody is able to been taking it from Joe P. So I'm over here now, so I'm not playing with those guys on a regular basis. And yeah, so I think he's just got it. It's his for the keeping. Nobody, I don't even know if those guys are still playing Fia. The Beach Boys are still going strong. Rob Kim is taking over some of the duties that I was doing, and Steve has taken over some more stuff that he's already been taking care of, and they're doing a fine job. They've had a few new members. As always, if you guys are interested on playing on Mondays, they play every Monday somewhere different. And if you just go to the Beach Boys golfclub.org website, there's a space there. You can contact one of those guys to get involved with that. So the Beach Boys are still going strong. Got some new clubs over here. I don't know if you deem them clubs, but I got groups of guys I play with. Monday skins game and Friday skins game at Hapuna. Monday kind of floats around. We've been playing Makani and the Village Course and Hapuna. So good group of guys. Great group of guys over here. And so been staying busy with that and working. So everything's good. We'll get the podcast back up and running. We still got to get Brent Grant on here. We had the Brent Grant watch on the Corn Ferry Tours, most of you guys know, and now we obviously have it on the PGA Tour since he got his card. Now, I know that the last PGA event we left off with was the AT&T Pebble Beach tournament where Aaron Rodgers won the Pro-Am event. Now, I've got an update on that because apparently there was some question as to his handicap, if it was legit or not. And so there's some people saying that it might not be legit. So we'll see about that. But we're going to get into all the PGA stuff. We'll run through the tournaments real quick. No lengthy discussion on them, but just enough to talk about them, the winners and stuff. And then we'll talk about the Corn Ferry Tour, the Jared Sawada watch. So let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hawaii State Golf Association. So obviously the goal this year is trying to win Senior Player of the Year. There's only been a few guys that have won it in the last 10 or 15 years. Mike Kawate has won it 3 times, the latest one to win 3 times. Carl Ho has won it several times. Shigeru Matsui has won it. And that's about it. I mean, those guys have won it multiple times. So my goal this year is trying to win it. And to win it, you have to play well in the tournaments where you get points for the senior event. And so this year, just to briefly go through some of them, we had the Hawaii State Amateur at Leilehua, and I played okay. I didn't play great. I was pretty consistent. I had all 77, 77, 77, which put me tied for 7th overall. And Craig Steinberg, he's won that event. He won it last year. He won it this year again. And then Jonathan Oda was in 2nd place, and Chris Howard was in 3rd. A lot of good golfers this year in the senior event. Right now, currently, I'm in 4th place, but did not have a very good day today, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now, the next tournament in the Hawaii State Golf Association was the Mid-Pac Open. That one, again, didn't play great. And they didn't really have a senior flight, so it was all kind of in the open championship flight. I did not play well in that tournament and ended up missing the cut. So did not get any points for that tournament, or if I did, they were very low. The next tournament we had was the U.S. Senior Open qualifier. Actually, in that tournament, I played pretty well. It was at Leilehua again, also, and I really like that course. It's really nice. But the winner was a former tour player, Will Yanagisawa. He shot 1 under 71 and won the tournament. And then my new boss, Kevin Hayashi, he went over and played it also. He shot 72. And Kevin is so good. He had a hole-in-one on number 5. And I'm in the group right behind him. So when he hit a shot, the ball hit the green and then bounced and rolled right into the cup. And I was playing with Damian Jamila, a pro from Oahu, and he was standing over there by the green when it went in, because he had hit his shot right a little bit on that tee box. But so I saw Kevin on 16. He had just teed off, and I was on 15. And I asked him, where he was at, and he said 2 under. And I just told him, I go, par, you win it. I mean, you're going to win with par. And unfortunately, he made bogey, shot 72. He was the first alternate behind Will. And then I shot 73 along with Damian Jamila and Juan Rodriguez, the pro from Nanea here on the Big Island. So we had to go into a 3-man playoff. And first hole, we all parred. Second hole, Damian and I parred, and Juan had bogeyed. And then the third hole, it was down to me and Damian. And Damian hit a beautiful shot on the par 5 and made the putt for birdie and beat me. So he was the second alternate. But a good thing out of it, I got another silver medal from the USGA for being the low amateur in the tournament. So that tournament I played well. It was kind of disappointing because I didn't get the full points because there was only 12 amateurs, and I think we have to have 14 to get full points in the scoring. So that kind of was bad, but anyhow. Then we had the OCC Men's Invitational at Oahu Country Club. Another great tournament. It's fun to play there. I didn't play great. I didn't play bad, but I ended up making the cut out of the top 30 for all the flights and ended up finishing in 25th place. So I did get some points for that. I also, the senior flight where I finished. Oh, yeah, I finished in second place. Brandon Kopp ended up winning it, his home course, and he's a great player. He ended up winning it with shooting 70, 78, and then I shot 75, 79 to come in second place. So I did get some points for that tournament. So the last tournament we played was actually today, and that was we played the U.S. Senior Amateur Tournament. And luckily, it was over here on the Big Island, where I'm now living. So it was nice. It played at the club at Hokulea, private club. There's a lot of private clubs over here, and not very many courses have a Kama Aina rate, which is kind of weird. We'll get into that in just a second. But today we played that, and I felt good about it. I have a left leg issue that's been bothering me for the last, 2 or 3 weeks. And, but I had rested it Saturday. I worked Saturday, and then I rested it all day Sunday, iced it and everything, and got in the hot tub and tried to get it worked out, massaging it, and it didn't feel halfway bad. So I thought I had a pretty good chance today. And for the first 5 holes, I was even par. And then on the 6th hole, I ran into a little bit of trouble, but I noticed on my putts, they were going like 6, 7, 8, and 9. My putts were going left. And I'm like, I have this lined up right. I'm not pulling it. Maybe I pulled one of them, but the others were on line exactly where I wanted to hit. And for some reason, they were going left. So we make the turn. I played terrible on the front. I went like double bogey, 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 double bogey for like a 45 on the front 9. And then on the back 9, we played 10. And then on 11, par 3, I hit my shot. I chip up, make par. I bend down to pick up my ball. My hand is on my putter, right hand on my putter. I reach down and grab the ball with my left hand. And all of a sudden, my putter head comes off the shaft. It just fell off. It just broke off. Now, I'm not the type of guy that slams clubs or throws clubs because, I was that guy in the past a long, long time ago, but it just got to the point that I got tired of paying to have my clubs fixed. So I quit throwing them. And I haven't thrown this putter at all, ever. And for some reason, it broke. The head fell off. So then I ended up playing the rest of the 9 holes, putting with my wedge. Made some decent putts, made some pars, but not good enough to finish anywhere close where I needed to be. I ended up shooting 89. The guy that won it, Pat Young, he's from Texas. I met him the other day at the village course at Waikoloa. He's a friend of Bully's. And I met him up there, and I guess the week before he got here to the island, he shot a 59. So he shot 73 and won it. So congratulations to Pat Young. I'm probably not going to move up anywhere in the standings. I'll probably stay at 4th. Brandon didn't play in this tournament, but Chris Howard and Skip Storm did, and they both shot 83 or 85. I can't remember which. So they're going to get some points. I'm going to get a little bit of points, but it's not going to move me anywhere at all. So congrats to those guys. And the next Hawaii State Golf Association tournament is the Army Invitational back over on Oahu, and that's going to be the first weekend in August. So I'll be going over for that, playing in that. And it's at Leilahua also, so a course where I've played well in the past, and hopefully it'll carry over. Luckily I had another putter here, 2 other putters here in the house, so I have a putter in the bag. Leland, he's the assistant pro up at Waikoloa. He works under Kevin Hayashi, who's the director of operations there. And I work in the pro shop. And but Leland does a lot of work on clubs, so I'm going to take my putter and have him fix the shaft in it for me. So until that time being, I'll be using my Scotty Cameron. So I do have a putter in the bag, and we'll be able to putt. But anyhow, let's take another short break, and we'll go over the PGA News and Korn Ferry Tour. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you have the best music taste out of all your friends and coworkers? The best way to prove it is to stay ahead of all the amazing upcoming talent. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's some artists out of Ohio that you should definitely be aware of. Dicasso, D-C-A-S-S-O, yes, like Picasso, just released a new music video for his song Going Back. This rapper turned singer has an upcoming album this year full of beautiful ballads, R&B slow jams, and hard-hitting rap records. Head to www.smartboystudios.com as soon as you're done listening to this episode of Murph's Place to watch the music video. While you're there, check out the phenomenal C-Money Baby, the Songbird, Corey Gossett, and all the top-tier talent that the Smart Boy production team are working with, such as Eamon Jones, July, 10 Tempo, TYS Markey, D Knight, and much, much more. If you or someone you know needs quality production, mixing, or mastering, just head to the website www.smartboystudios.com and fill out the contact form. You can support Smart Boy Studios by going to shop.smartboystudios.com to buy merch, or linktree.com/smartboystudios to check out the Discord server, new releases, and merch. All right, welcome back, everybody. PGA news. We've had a lot of tournaments since the last time we talked. I apologize for that. And a lot of you are already going to know this information probably, but there may be a couple that don't. So I'll just briefly run through them. It won't be long. like I said before, the last one we talked about was the AT&T Pebble Beach, where Aaron Rodgers ended up winning the Pro-Am part of it. But there was some controversy. Has now been something brought up that his handicap was not legit or something like that. So I don't know what they're doing with it, if they're doing anything at all with it. But, you don't like sandbaggers. You want somebody to be legit. If you're going to say you're a 10 or 12 handicap, then hopefully that's what you are, and you're not just lying and trying to get more strokes. But there are people out there like that. Don't be that guy. Anyhow, the next tournament after that was the Waste Management, February 9th through the 12th. Your winner in that one was Scotty Scheffler. Or Brent Grantwatch. Brent was not in the field for that tournament. The next tournament after that, February 16th through the 19th, was the Genesis Invitational at Riviera Country Club, a very nice course that Tommy is a member at, and I've got to play with him at. John Rahm was your winner in that tournament. Brent, again, was not in the field for the Riviera tournament. The next tournament after that was the Honda Classic, February 23rd through the 26th. That was at PGA National in Palm Beach, Florida. Chris Kirk was your winner in that tournament. And Brent withdrew after his first round. Now, I don't know if he withdrew because of an injury or if it was something else, but he did not finish that tournament. He withdrew after he played the first round. The next tournament was the Puerto Rico Open. That was March 2nd through the 5th. And there was another tournament that same weekend, the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Orlando, Florida. That was also May 2nd through the 5th. The Puerto Rico Open was at the Grand Reserve Golf Club of Rio Grande, Puerto Rico. Nico Echevarria was your winner. Brent actually was in the field for that tournament. He finished tied for 40th, shooting rounds of 69, 74, 72, and 69. So congrats to Brent on a good finish in that tournament. At the Arnold Palmer Invitational, going on at the same time, Kurt Kitayama was your winner, shooting 9 under. Now, Brent was obviously not in that field since he was in Puerto Rico playing, but Kurt Kitayama, your winner at 9 under. The next tournament, March 9th through the 12th, was the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass down in Florida. Scotty Scheffler shot 17 under to win that tournament, and Brent was not in the field for that tournament. The next tournament after that was the Valspar Championship at Innisbrook Copperhead. Great course, played it in the Golf Channel Am Tour National Championship. That tournament was played March 16th through the 19th. Taylor Moore shot 10 under to win that tournament. And Brett was in the field for that tournament. He shot 75 and 69 to miss the cut. So good luck on the next one. The next tournament was the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. That was down at the Punta Cana Resort in Mexico. Matt Wallace shot 19 under, was your winner. Brent did play in that tournament, and he had a good showing. He finished tied for 8th place, shooting rounds of 69, 69, 70, and 67. Congrats, Brent, on a tournament, a well-played tournament. The next tournament after that was March 22nd through the 26th, also occurring the same time the Punta Cana tournament was, and that was the WGC Dell Technology Match Play Tournament in Austin at the Austin Country Club. Sam Burns was your winner. He won 6-5 over Cameron Young, and so obviously Brent played in Mexico, so he wasn't there. The next tournament, March 30th through April 2nd, was the Valero Texas Open, and that was at TPC San Antonio. Corey Connors was your winner, shooting 15 under. Brent did play in that tournament. He shot 75, 71, and missed the cut. The next tournament, obviously the big one, the Masters Tournament. That was April 6th through the 9th at Augusta National. John Rahm shot 12 under to win the tournament, and Brent was not in the field. The next tournament, RBC Heritage, April 13th through the 16th. That was at Harbor Town Golf Links in Hilton Head. Matt Fitzpatrick shot 17 under and won that tournament, and Brent was also not in that field. The next tournament after that is the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, April 20th through the 23rd, held at TPC Louisiana. The Zurich Classic is kind of a different one. So it is a two-man team event. So Davis Riley and Nick Hardy, they shot 30 under to win it. Brent did play in it. He was paired with Kevin Roy. They shot 65-73 to miss the cut. So better luck next time, guys. The next tournament after that was the Mexico Open at Vedanta, and Vallarta, Mexico is where that was held, April 27th through the 30th. Tony Finau was the winner, 24 under. I like Tony. Brent did play in that tournament. He shot 69-75 to miss the cut. The next tournament was the Wells Fargo Championship in Quail Hollow. That was May 4th through the 7th. Wyndham Clark was your winner, shooting 19 under. And Brent shot 72-77 to miss the cut in that tournament. The next tournament, AT&T Byron Nelson, held at TPC Craig Ranch. That was May 11th through the 14th. Jason Day was your winner, shooting 23 under. That was a great tournament. Man, I was so glad to see Jason Day win. It's been so long that he's finally won a tournament. I was just so happy for him. Brent did play in that tournament. He finished tied 83rd. He shot 68, 70, 69, and 74. So congrats to Brent on another cut and finishing in the money. The next tournament was the PGA Championship that was played at Oak Hill Golf Club, and May 18th through the 20th. Brooks Koepka was your winner, shot 9 under. Brent was not in the field at that tournament. The next tournament, Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Texas, May 25th through the 28th. Emiliano Grillo was your winner, shooting 8 under, and Brent was not in the field in that tournament. Then we had the tournament in my old stomping grounds back at the Memorial Tournament in Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio, not far from where I grew up, and was a tournament that I went to often, every time it came. Victor Hovland was your winner, 7 under, and Brent was not in the field for that tournament either. And I was glad to see Victor win. He's one of my favorite players on tour also. So it was good to see him win. Congrats, Victor. The next tournament was the RBC Canadian Open. That was June 8th through the 11th, held at Oakdale Golf and Country Club in Toronto, Canada. Nick Taylor won that tournament 17 under. It was so cool because Nick is a Canadian. I want Rory is my man that I want to win, or Brent, one of the two. But it was cool to see Nick, a Canadian, win the Canadian Open. And now, Brett did play in this tournament. He had a decent tournament. He shot 71, 72, 74, 69, and tied for 52nd. The next tournament was the U.S. Open, June 15th to the 18th at L.A. Country Club, the North Course. Wyndham Clark shot 10 under to get his second win of the year. And Brent did play, shot 72, 74, but he missed the cut. The next tournament after that was the Travelers Championship, TPC River Highlands in Connecticut, June 22nd through the 25th. Keegan Bradley was your winner, shooting 23 under, and Brent was not in the field in that tournament. And then we had the Rocket Mortgage Classic at the Detroit Golf Club, June 29th to July 2nd. And Ricky Fowler shot 24 under, got into a playoff, and ended up winning it. It was so great to see him win. I was so happy that Ricky won that tournament. Brent did play in that tournament, shot 72, 72, and missed the cut. So then we had the John Deere Classic. That was July 6th through the 9th at TPC Deer Run in Illinois. Sepp Straka was your winner, shooting 21 under. Brett, he played in that tournament also, but he did not have a good showing. He shot 75, 69 to miss the cut. The next tournament was the Barbasol Championship, and that was held in Kentucky. Vincent Norman was your winner, shooting 22 under, and Brent was not in the field for that tournament. After that tournament, which occurred not too long ago, was the Genesis Scottish Open, July 13th through the 16th at the Renaissance Club in Scotland. Rory McIlroy was your winner, shooting 15 under with 2 amazing birdies on 17 and 18 to win it. Brent was not in the field in that tournament. And it was kind of cool. McIntyre made a shot on 18, had to be the highlight shot of the week, and made birdie on 18 to take the lead. And then Rory came up on 17 and made birdie, and then he came up on 18. He hit on the left-hand side, kind of where McIntyre was at, and Rory hit a shot that was just as good as McIntyre's and almost looked identical. They had to be close to being about the same distance apart on the green that they were from the pin. They had to be about the same distance. And Rory made birdie to end up winning the tournament. So that was really cool. It would have been kind of cool to see McIntyre win it. It's a Scottish Open. He's Scottish. He's from Scotland. You know, maybe he wins it like, you know, the Canadian Open, Taylor winning the Canadian Open. But, yeah, he didn't. And, you know, Wyndham Clark winning the U.S. Open. So you had a Canadian winning the Canadian Open. You had an American winning the U.S. Open. And then there was a chance for McIntyre, a Scottish guy, to win the Scottish Open. So I was happy that Rory won, but kind of I was hoping that maybe McIntyre could win, and you know, he's winning his own Open, the Scottish Open. So congrats to Rory. The Barracuda Championship, that was July 20th through the 23rd at Tahoe Mountain Club in Truckee, California. Akshay Bhatia is your winner at plus 40 points. Now, this tournament is a little different. They go by Stableford scoring. So, depending on, and you can do it different ways, but normally if you make a par, that's 0 points. If you make a birdie, that's 2 points. If you make or if you make a par, it's 1 point. If you make a birdie, it's 2 points. If you make an eagle, it's 5 points. If you make a bogey, it's 0 points. If you make a double bogey, it's minus 1 point. There's different scoring methods for it. I'm not sure how the PGA did it in this tournament, but Akshay Bhatia, he was your winner at plus 40 points. Brent did play in the tournament, and he tied for 44th and with 25 points. So congrats to Brent on a good tournament there. This past weekend, another major, the last major of the year, as a matter of fact, the Open Championship, July 20th through the 22nd at Royal Liverpool in Hoylake, England. Brian Harman is your winner at 13 under. Brent was not in the field there, but Brian won by 6 strokes over 4 other guys that were at 7 under. Not only, it's kind of cool what they were saying, though, that it's the first time in PGA Tour history that 2 left-handed golfers won on the same weekend. So Brian Harman's a lefty, he won the Open, and Akshay Bhatia is a left-hander that won the Barracuda Championship. So that's pretty cool. Next up on the PGA Tour, you got the 3M Open, and that's at TPC Twin Cities, July 20th through the 30th. And the power rankings for that tournament, number 1, Sepp Straka. Number 2, Emiliano Grillo. And number 3, Tony Finau. Now, these last 2 tournaments of the year, the 3M and I can't think of the other one. These last 2 tournaments, though, will be the 2 tournaments that finalize the field of 70 players for the FedEx Cup playoffs. So you really want to play good in these last 2 tournaments so you can get into the FedEx playoffs. The defending champion in that tournament is Tony Finau, and they got him listed at number 3 in the power rankings. Well, as a prior winner, I think you might want to be listed as number 1. But anyhow, I'll be rooting for Tony. He's another one of my favorite players. I've got like 5 or 6 players on the PGA Tour that I really like, and I hope that they do well. Korn Ferry Tour. Jared Sawada. We started watching him this year. He qualified to play the Korn Ferry Tour. Now, I'm not going to run down through all the tournaments that he's played in, but he has played in 15 events this year. He's made the cut in 4 of those events, and he missed the cut in 10 of those events. Now, the very first event of the year, he withdrew from the event. I don't know if it was an injury or what was going on that he withdrew, but he's currently sitting at 178th in the standings. Now, they changed, if I'm not mistaken, they changed the Korn Ferry thing this year that it's not the top 25, but it's going to be the top 30. But I don't think that you can get into the PGA, that you can get your PGA card through the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. I could be wrong about that. I'm not 100%. I'm going to research that, and I'll let you guys know next week. But like, that's how Brent got his PGA card, was he played well in the PGA Tour or the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. He was outside that top 25 in the money list, but he did have a good showing in the PGA Tour Championship, or why do I keep saying PGA Tour? The Korn Ferry Tour Championship. He had a good showing, and that earned him his PGA card for this year. So I'll let you know. I'll double check that, but I thought that they changed it this year, that it's no longer the top 25 money winners, it's the top 30, and there's no Tour Championship guys getting in. But I'll double check on that and let you know next week. The next tournament for the Korn Ferry guys is the NV5 Invitational, presented by Old National Bank, and that's going to be at the Glen Club in Illinois. As of right now, Jared is not in the field for that tournament, so I don't know when the next one will be that he'll be in, so we'll see what happens. Real briefly, I know back when all this Live Golf stuff started, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it because to me that's not golf. I still have that same attitude. It's not golf, it's exhibition golf, in my opinion. You're getting paid even if you shoot 100. You could shoot 120. The very last guy has a horrible day, has an amateur day, and shoots 120 or 90 something even, and he's still going to get a check for $100 and some thousand. That's a participation trophy to me. Just because you were there, you get paid. It's ridiculous to me. And now I'm sure most of you have heard this new this new news that there's possibly going to be a merger between the PGA Tour and Live Golf and the PIF and all this nonsense. I don't know. I don't like the way that Jay Monahan handled it. I don't think you keep your players, especially the ones that are on the boards, that you just make these decisions without consulting them about it. I understand the financial aspect of it, that it was going to cost a lot of money with the lawsuits and trying to keep up and maintain what Liv is doing, because they have a lot of money, a lot of money. But and I'm not even on the whole moral kick of it. Am I a fan of them killing Jared Khashoggi, the journalist? No, I'm not. And in my opinion, part of that is sport washing, that they're just trying to make themselves look better by doing this. To be honest with you, I hope that they don't merge. I hope that they don't come to an agreement. There's no set thing right now. A lot of people are like, oh, they're one thing now. No, they're not. No, they talked about coming up with an agreement. That's all they agreed on, is to come up with an agreement, see if they could work something out. But for Jay Monahan to handle it the way he did, I'm not a fan of that. And a lot of the players aren't. You got guys that are saying, they don't trust him anymore, and he's going to have to earn back their trust. And I don't know. Ernie Els put it perfectly, this guy just made his own decision to do this, and he should be gone. And I watched some of the Capitol hearings on it, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I'll never be a fan of Live Golf, and I like Rory's attitude that, he said not too long ago that if Live Golf was the only place to play golf, he would retire. And I'm in total agreement with him. And for those of you guys that are going to send me, messages or emails about, well, if it was you, if you had the opportunity to take the money, you would take it. Well, that's possible. But I can tell you one thing. If I did do that, I wouldn't be trying to sue the PGA Tour or trying to come in and take money out of the guys that stayed loyal to the PGA Tour to play golf. I would go do my live golf stuff. The only thing I didn't like about it, I don't care that they left. The only thing I didn't like about it is that they lied about why they were going. You didn't go because you want a shorter schedule. You got to play 14 events. The PGA required you to play 15. Ooh, one more event. That's going to give you a lot more time to spend with your families. Come on, man. They left because of the money. And the only guy that is on Live Golf Tour that has my respect is Harold Varner III. Because Harold Varner was honest about the whole thing. He came out and said, hey, I did it because it's generational wealth. It's going to take care of my family for years to come. And I respect the guy for that. He didn't try to say, oh, I want a shorter schedule. I want to spend more time with my family. Da, 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 da. No, he didn't do any of that. And not only did he admit that that's why he went, he called out several of the other live golfers that's why they went, and to stop the cap. You didn't go for a shorter schedule or whatever. You went because the money. And that's perfectly fine. But it's not perfectly fine for you to try to sue the PGA Tour because they won't let you play in events. That's ridiculous. So anyhow, I have not watched a live golf event at all. I have no desire to watch it. It's not golf, in my opinion. A lot of my friends are like, oh, you're crazy. No, I'm not. Okay, you can think of that it's golf, but to me, it's not golf. There's no cut. Does the PGA Tour have events that are no cuts? They've had a couple. And they're talking about having more, but I don't think that's right. That's not golf. You're awarding them for just participating. And I know guys get paid money for showing up at tournaments and all that kind of stuff. That's different. That's totally different. But when you're competing against somebody, trying to win a trophy, trying to win money, that is a totally different game than just showing up and playing and getting a participation trophy or money, in my opinion. And you guys can let me know if you think differently. Please shoot me an email at merceplace808@gmail.com if you have a different opinion or if you agree with me. Let me know what you think about it. I'm not a fan, and I'll never be a fan. I'll never watch a live event at all, ever. I don't want to. It was funny. One of the guys at work turned on the TV. Oh, let's turn on the live event. And I'm like, I don't even want to watch that garbage. And so he left it on for a couple minutes and then said, yeah, I don't want to watch it either, and shut it off. It's not golf to me. I have no desire to watch it. And for those guys, that was another thing. What about the guys that stayed loyal to the PGA Tour? What are they going to do for those guys? I think they have to compensate them. I think they have to give them money because they stayed loyal. And then you guys turn around and do this after they've, and a pathway. They're going to try to have a pathway for those guys to come back to the PGA Tour. Are you kidding me? If there's a pathway, they should have to be paying a lot of money to get back on it. And I don't think they should. I think it should still be the same. They shouldn't be able to play on both tours. Well, I'm not saying it in the sense like, you got the DP World Tour and you got the PGA Tour. They're both affiliated, but there are guys that go and play DP World events and PGA events. So if Live Golf is going to be a separate entity or under the umbrella of the PGA Tour, then in my opinion, if you're going to do that and allow those guys to come back and play on the PGA Tour, then I think you have to compensate, or not compensate, but you have to do the same for the PGA guys that want to go do a live event. You got to let those guys go play live. But that's not going to happen. That will never happen. One, I'm sure a lot of guys don't want to, but two, they're not going to allow guys to come over there and just, float back and forth through the two tours. But if they come to a merger, I think that should be part of it. I think they should allow that so those guys get some of that money if they're going to continue up with the higher purses on the live tour instead of PGA Tour. And obviously, and they're not going to be able to play events that are scheduled on the same date, so that shouldn't be an issue. But Anyhow, let me know what you guys think. If you guys think that, if you're a fan of the Live Golf, let me know why that you're a fan of it. If you're not, let me know why you're not. But shoot me an email at merceplace808@gmail.com and let me know what you guys think. But I'm going to wrap up. I think that's it for tonight, guys. I want to thank you guys for, staying and hanging in there. I've seen even the last episode, there's been a lot more people listening to it. And I have to, man, it just blows my mind. And I've said this time and time again on this podcast, that it just blows my mind as to how many people are listening to the podcast in the different countries. We picked up another 4 countries since the last time I spoke to you guys. So we're up to 23 countries that are listening to the podcast. And I can't thank you guys enough. I hope you guys are playing the game, enjoying it, working at it, depending on what you want to do with it. Like I said, I'm putting the time in because I'm trying to do well and try to win the Senior Player of the Year. But, man, there's a lot of good golfers. Chris Howard, Skip Storm, Brandon Kopp, Mike Kawate. The list goes on and on. Jonathan Oda. There's a lot of good golfers, and it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough trying to win it this year. We'll see what happens. But anyhow, if you guys are playing golf, hit them straight, hit them long, but don't hit them very often. Aloha, everybody.